What's up, everyone? Welcome back to our little community where we talk about what the Bible has to say about parkour and fitness in general. This week, we're going to be jumping into Romans chapter 8. I got my coffee right here, you guys. Feel free to grab whatever beverage you like to start the morning with. And when you get back, we'll be right into it. Alrighty guys, I'm going to read just a few verses from here, but I would really encourage you to read all of Romans 8 in your own time. Especially this week, Romans 8 is a huge chapter with so many things, and I'm reading just a fraction of what it has for us. So again, please do that. I hope it blesses you, but for right now, we're going to be starting here in verse 5. Those who are dominated by the sinful nature think about sinful things. But those who are controlled by the Holy Spirit think about things that please the Spirit. So letting your sinful nature control your mind leads to death, but letting the Spirit control your mind leads to life and peace. For the sinful nature is always hostile to God. It never did obey God's laws, and it never will. That's why those who are still under the control of their sinful nature can never please God. Therefore, dear brothers and sisters, you have no obligation to do what your sinful nature urges you to do. For if you live by its dictates, you will die. But if, through the power of the Spirit, you put to death the deeds of your sinful nature, you will live. For all who are led by the Spirit of God are children of God. So if you guys weren't here last week, I would really encourage you to check in with that video, because last week is a direct prequel to what we're reading here. Even in Romans chapter 7, that's a prequel to Romans chapter 8. They're directly tied to each other. And so last week we kind of talked about how you have to kind of walk the walk and talk the talk if you want to be anybody in the parkour world. And last week we also talked about this idea of sin and how it prevents us from being one with God, and that idea of sin being inside of us and preventing us from doing those things. But for this week, I kind of want to give us the opposite challenge. Whereas last week we talked about building a daily routine that keeps us strong, this week I want to talk about doing those things that keep our spirit strong. Because again, this is what Paul's talking about here. This is the difference between Romans 7 and Romans 8. You see, there are certain movements that we do in the parkour world that are more mental than they are physical. Like a backflip, for example. Technically, it's a very easy move, but it takes a lot of skill and a lot of commitment to actually learn the move. And I can sit here and I can name a bunch of different moves that apply to that, but I think even for beginners in the parkour world, like, it doesn't have to be a backflip. It can be as simple as balancing on a rail. That's maybe something you're capable of, but your mind is kind of unsure of it. And just being honest with you guys, this is the thing I probably see the most in the parkour community. Somebody will try a challenge that I'll watch and I'll see that they have the timing, they have the strength, everything is right, but they're just not doing it. And every time I've talked to them in that moment, they always say the same things. I think I have it, but I just haven't done it this big, or I haven't done it from this height. Or even it's a new move and I'm taking it outside for the first time. There are infinite scenarios where we as athletes get afraid of doing something bigger or doing something different. I was talking with some friends even last week, and they changed the way that I thought about strides. A super simple parkour movement that suddenly my mind is freaking out and analyzing and picking up details that it never has before. And because of that, one, I actually unlocked a new technique for strides, so thank you for that. But I also became afraid to apply it in new situations. And again, no fault to me and no fault to you guys. When you experience that, it is not a bad thing. It is not your body holding you back, it is your mind holding you back. And being able to work through that is not only important as a parkour athlete, it's important in life. In Romans chapter 7, he talks about how he has to do these things and follow these rules, but it changes the way that he thinks about things. And then through the rest of this chapter, again, please read it on your own, you guys. There is so much goodness in here. But in the rest of the chapter, he talks about how the Spirit and all of these things are freeing us. And we need the Spirit to free us. That if we isolate ourselves to just this one thing, we're never going to experience this other thing. So I want to share with you guys a little technique that I don't do often, but I have done in the past and I've seen great success with. You see, with movements like a backflip that, for me at least, are more mental than they are physical, what I like to do is find a similar movement and repeat that 100 times, 50 times, 20 times, however many times I need to in order to be more confident in doing that harder move. So again, if I'm using the example of a backflip, maybe I do a back handspring every day this week, or maybe I'll do a macaco every day this week, or even a back bridge into a handstand every day this week. Something that gives me that same sensation that I am just doing again and again and again until my body is confident in moving backwards. And again, this is something that even the strongest athletes are still going to struggle with. Maybe you have the best daily routines and you keep yourself fit and you can do huge jumps, but when it actually comes time to commit, your mind has to go through this battle. So both of these challenges are just weapons to help you win that battle, because that's what parkour is about. Parkour is more than just jumping over rooftops and experiencing movement in a creative way. It's all about finding those things that your body is kind of maybe capable of and then pushing through it. And that's it this week, you guys. It's not complicated. I kind of maybe over-explained it even. But again, that's what the passage here was talking about. So I feel that it's relevant not only to last week's challenge, but it's also good to keep us balanced on both sides, strong and mentally strong. So again, here's my little weekly compilation of working up to that harder move. All right, you guys, very simply, double Kong is something that I'm working on right now. So I'm just going to do 20 reps on this easy little double Kong that I have right here. So again, you guys, this is a move that I am working on right now. It's not some mindless exercise that I'm just out here doing. There are a couple of double Kongs that I want, and so I'm practicing on this easier one to kind of help my brain remember the timing, be more comfortable with the movement. This double Kong in particular is about half of my body length. The ones that I'm working up towards are my entire body length. So obviously the timing is going to be different, but the general movement is still going to be the same, which is the point of the exercises that we're doing here. It's not going to give us perfect technique, but it's going to give us a baseline that we can work with. And that's everything I gotta say to you guys today. So don't forget to share this with somebody who you think would benefit from it. Even if they're a great athlete, maybe this will help give them another tool in their arsenal. And also feel free to leave any comments about what you guys think or suggestions for future challenges. We're actually almost halfway through Romans, so even if you have a passage of the Bible that you would like to go through next, whatever it is, you guys, leave it down there. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe, you guys. We're here every week with the same kind of content. So if you like these challenges, I'm sure you're going to like the rest of them. So be sure you can get notified about that if you want to see what we have to say about Romans chapter 9. Otherwise, that's all I got for you guys right now. I hope you have a great day.